Turkish domestic politics and foreign policy. Thank you very much, Dr. Ciddi, for joining us tonight. So we mentioned earlier in a different context that countries are, readying the war that will be, not the war that was or that is. So Steel Dome is aimed at defending who, what, where, and when.
Well, unknown. All we do know is that the Turks have missed out on several opportunities to have an air defense system dating back to the early 2010s, right? Mm-hmm. But I think it's more alarming for them, especially following the 12-day aerial war between Iran and Israel, right? Where Turkey's basic sort of, lack of air defense became glaringly obvious.
Yes.
And Turkey has been developing this sort of steel dome apparently for several years now. But what we don't know is how effective it is. Yes, I mean, we've heard today that the initial sort of batteries or the first sort of wave of the steel dome has been delivered to the Turkish military. And President Erdogan has basically sort of talked about it today and at the Technofest sort of celebrations. But, we have no independent verification of its efficacy and effectiveness. But what we do know, obviously, is what I've just said, is that this is something that's sorely missing in Turkey's defensive capabilities.
So Turkey has invested heavily in its defense industry for many years, seeking to essentially become self-sufficient in arms ever since it was subjected to an arms embargo back in the 70s, right? It dates back to then. So how's it going overall, not just when we're talking about
Well, it's a mixed bag. I mean, they've done relatively well in a number of areas, especially in the conventional realm. I mean, they've just sort of showcased the development of medium-range ballistic missiles, bunker buster weapons. They're in the business of shipbuilding, a major capability which the Europeans and the United States is sort of interested in. They're right now in the building phase of 36 naval ships, including supposedly a new aircraft carrier. But they are struggling in areas of high-end development, such as strategic weapons, such as a fifth-generation fighter, although they seem to be testing one. They do struggle in the realm of other strategic capabilities, namely air defense capabilities, such as the steel dome. We just don't know how capable it is because Turkey failed to purchase a Patriot defense system. They have Russian systems which they have failed to deploy, but they have significantly invested in these, in the strategic autonomy realm, where they're trying to develop an indigenous capability. But I would say no state is an island unto itself, and Turkey will need to sort of continue working with allies and partners to develop these capabilities if they're going to succeed across all domains, simply because these are very sophisticated platforms, and no state is an island unto itself.
No state is an island, and separately, we hear the Azerbaijani president saying that relations between Israel and Turkey are on the verge of explosion. Well, what's new, eh? But seriously, though, the recent comments by the Israeli premier on recognizing the Armenian genocide, is that what triggered this statement, this comment by the Azerbaijani president?
I mean, possibly, but also, look, Aliyev obviously has a good relationship with both Israel and a very good relationship with Ankara. And so I think he's basically trying to sort of play an interlocutor role, whereby he's trying to get both the Israeli government and the Turks to essentially, find a common forum where they can actually sort of de-escalate if it's possible, simply because Azerbaijan may be the only platform where both countries can sit down. Now, that being said, put the genocide sort of accusation and bombastic sort of accusations to one side. There is a whole plethora of other sort of issues where between Israel and Turkey, tensions are on the rise. We've seen Turkey's sort of weapons build up in places like Somalia, Cyprus, the Aegean, naval maneuverings, exercises, etc. Turkey's military capabilities and build up inside of Syria. We've just seen sort of accusations hurled by, the Turkish government suggesting that Israeli airstrikes carried out just outside of Damascus the other day was targeted at, destabilizing the Syrian government, et cetera, et cetera. So there is a whole series of very, very deep issues to sort through. Azerbaijani efforts to sort of mediate talks is helpful, but I'm not sure in the short term it can do anything, simply because there are so many sort of divisive issues.
Yes, ups and downs, mostly downs in recent time. Senior Fellow at the Foundation for Defense of Democracy, Dr. Sinan Ciddi, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it, as always. Thank you.
Thanks.